Okay, so now we're on to the intermediate version of this combination. We're going to add in some footwork with the front kick and some hips with the jabs. Okay, so we're going to start off just with the jabs, just to get a feel for that. So instead of our arms going 1, 2 on both, now we're going to use our hips and kind of like we're squishing a bug. Now this jab is still going to come straight forward, but what's going to happen is, Nick, can you step here? Just kind of give me your hand. So this is my jabs range. Okay. Now if I step back to about here, you can see there's quite a space between my hand and his. If I shoot my hip forward, it just gives me a little bit more range and a lot more power. You'll remember when we were going over the stance and the jab, how the human eye sucks at seeing depth. This is an interesting thing because physically this is actually a faster jab, but perceptually this is a slower jab because it has sideways motion which drives it. So it's actually more of a telegraph technique, even though technically if you were to use an accelerometer it is faster, it is perceptually slower. So you would still use this as a medium technique. So if you think fast, medium, strong, the strong is obviously the easiest one to see coming, just like in video games. Okay, so we're here, we're going to throw jab, then hip jab, and I want you just to leave it out for me. Okay, so jab, and then bang. Okay, when this hip jab is here, notice how his right hip is farther back. Okay, if his right hip is farther back, that's the power source for his punch. So if instead of bringing his hip back to here and then throwing his punch, what he's going to do is he's going to throw that from there. He's going to throw the punch from there, boom, and it's going to have a lot more power behind it. The farther your hips can rotate, the stronger the jab, or sorry, the punch would be. So now our combination is jab, hip jab, follow through with the punch off of that hip jab. Okay, 1, 2, boom, like so. If you're having trouble with the timing, don't worry about it. That is a really tricky thing to do. One thing you can do to drill it at home is hold this out here, and then instead of focusing on your right hip coming forward, focus on your left hip being pulled back. And what that'll do is that'll teach you to use both hips at the same time. So instead of just focusing on driving forward, a lot of the time you'll see kind of this sort of like, they're kind of coming forward like this. That's because you're focusing too much on one hip. So if you're having that trouble, bring this hip back as you shoot this one forward, and that'll give you that punch so that you land. Also, pay attention to yourself in the mirror when you're throwing these strikes. You want to have that linear strike here, bring it back to about here, and then that hip, again, linear, and then throw the punch. This isn't a hook, okay? So you don't want to think 1, 2. It really is 1, 2, 3. They're all nice and straight right down the center line. This is a tricky jab to block, okay? I use it a fair bit. Okay? So we're here. Bom, bom, bom. Okay? After that, we're going to throw in the front kick with a little bit extra footwork.